Today's episode of the Girl Which Way Show is brought to you by Admire My Skin. Admire My Skin is a skincare line that was founded on the belief that advanced products that deliver real results should be available to everyone. So, using proven clinical grade ingredients, their products deliver visible results, no prescription required. My favorite products are the Citrus Glow Drops and Collagen Cream. Head over to admiremyskin.com and use code Shalia at checkout for 20% off your order. And make sure you tell them the Girl Which Way sent you. Hello and welcome to the Girl Which Way podcast, the show that exists because life is a journey, but you still need direction. Grab your girls and get ready, because each episode will be talking about our real life issues, answering questions, and building solid relationships with one another as we heal and learn. I'm your host, your girl, Shalia Vinny, and today's show is all about the strength of a woman. As women, we are strong and can do all things, but is our strength taken away from our femininity? Is it possible to be too strong? Can we really have it all? Ladies, think about how you grew up. Cook this, wash that, be responsible, fold that, clean it up, pick it up, watch your siblings. As girls, we're taught to get things done. Practically from birth. Since the dawn of time, we've been taught to be ladylike and how to be a good fit for some man and, how are we supposed to dress and how do we speak and how do we cook and clean and sew and make a home, all in preparation of being a future wife. Our elders meant well and they wanted us to be prepared to marry well, quote unquote. But as times have changed, this whole dynamic is a little bit different. We are steadily gaining more rights. We've been allowed to come out of the kitchen and we have our own voices now. Many of us have shifted our mindset away from what was seen as the traditional goal of being a wife and mother and homemaker. And instead we've opted to chase our own dreams and goals. And, we put ourselves first. We have essentially become the CEOs our moms wanted us to marry. We have decided that we're going to live life on our own terms and that we are deserving of every good thing hard work can afford us. When there isn't a way, women find a way. We are determined to get the job done. But has this work ethic and newly found independence come at a steep price for us? Are women too strong? Some are deciding against marriage. Some have postponed having a family until later on in life, if at all. We're armed with education and financial freedom that, frankly, women before us just didn't have without their men. We're not always in a rush to be tied down to anybody's son. Unless he can truly add value to our lives. Sisters are truly out here doing it for themselves, and they're happy about it. The shift of societal dynamics caused by women bossing up, of course, comes with backlash and negativity. It's frowned upon for women to forego having children and getting married as soon as possible. How dare we decide to compete in boys' clubs and boardrooms across the nation? We have a woman vice president, for goodness sakes. Men have been questioning whether we still need them or not because, frankly, some women act like they really don't. So men began to label us as ball busters and that we were doing too much because the notion is that women have become so strong that they've replaced their feminine energy with a masculine energy. Like so many other discussions, of course, women of color have been hit with this narrative the hardest. Women of color often don't grow up with a solid male figure in their home and have grown up seeing the woman lead the household and make all the decisions. She's usually taught to stand on her own long before she's even been given the right to fully choose who she wants to be. And it seems like people see this as some type of preparation for life for us, but what no one seems to consider is that it erases our innocence and feminine energy long before they've had the chance to be properly developed. When you combine that with hard work and success, it can truly come across as hard because we learn to depend on ourselves because we often haven't had the opportunity to experience what it feels like to be able to put our faith into someone else. So fathers and then later down the line, men can prove to be a risky bet that we often just can't afford to take. So in true Black woman fashion, we do it for ourselves. I believe this is deeply rooted in unresolved trauma, so we use success to overcompensate for our internal struggles, hold big degrees, and come home to big, beautiful, empty houses alone. This makes us harder, very likely to succeed, and least likely to be married. Now, I'm not saying that everyone wants to be married, but if you do, don't you want it to be an option? To be clear, being a masculine woman is not a weakness, it's actually a strength. There are even growing numbers of studies that show that neurologically we are all a mixture of both masculine and feminine traits. But the key is unlocking and understanding that both masculine and feminine energies are within us and learning how to adjust to which energy is needed at a specific time. The goal is to be androgynous. Now, what is androgynous? An androgynous female is a person who is high in both masculine and female traits. Androgynous people can be aggressive or yielding, forceful or gentle, sensitive or assertive. It just depends on what the situation requires. There's a time and a place for everything, and choosing which hat to wear in different scenarios is a master level skill which takes intentional focus, but it can be done. Today's episode of the Girl Which Way show is brought to you by Admire My Skin. Admire My Skin is a skincare line that was founded on the belief that advanced products that deliver real results should be available to everyone. So, using proven clinical grade ingredients, their products deliver visible results, no prescription required. My favorite products are the Citrus Glow Drops and Collagen Cream. Head over to admiremyskin.com and use code Shalia at checkout for 20% off your order. And make sure you tell them the Girl Which Way sent you. So we've been talking about feminine and masculine energy and how it affects us. Some of us have become so self-sufficient and adapted that we may not even realize exactly how strong we are or how we're perceived by others around us. So here are 6 ways to know if you're strong. Number 1. Asking for help or support is a challenge for you. You can do all things except ask for help. You kind of feel like if it's going to be done correctly, I need to do it myself. It doesn't matter if it's with household repairs, at work, on the job, with the kids, in your relationship, you got it and you know best. Which leads to number 2. You feel that you have to handle it / do it yourself. If you don't do it, you'll have to fix it anyway, so you might as well do it in the first place. Team player is not exactly what you'd be classified as. You mean well, and you genuinely want the team to succeed, but you just feel better driving the ball because you don't really fumble. So when people try to tell you how this makes them feel, you almost kind of get offended because you're doing it for the team. Number 3. You may get feedback from men that you're too intimidating, you're too independent, or you don't seem like you, quote unquote, need a man. Men you date, men in your family, men at work, they all have one thing in common. They are turned off by you. You've heard them make comments like this more than once. Because men have the desire to fix things, to help problem solve, and to lead. Their masculine energy makes them yearn to be connected to your feminine energy. They complement each other. So if you're both going to be the men, they don't feel needed and they will not stick around to compete for who has the bigger pair of cojones. They don't want to know. Number 4, you anger easily, or people often tell you that you look mad. People are annoying and they really upset you easily. You try to hide how you feel and use some tact, but your face is so loud, it just tells all your business every time. People are always asking you why you're mad, which only makes you madder. Number 5, you often speak loudly, harshly, or use a lot of profanity. You're aggressive. You shoot from the hip and you pull no punches. You're direct and meant every word you said, every time you said it. You will go off in a hot second. You are loud and deliberate, and you don't care who you embarrass as long as you get your point across. Number 6, you're not coachable. Constructive criticism is not your thing. You don't do well taking advice and criticism from people whom you consider not to be on your level. If someone approaches you and honestly tells you how you made them feel, you shrug it off because you're not really ready to hear it. You like yourself the way you are. Who cares what they think? Everyone may not like you and you're fine with that. Now, do any of those actually sound like you, sis? You must hone in on your energy. Be a boss and a nurturer. Be a competitor and willing to wave the white flag if need be. Be strong and calculating and empathetic and forgiving. A problem solver and an active listener. Balance. Find your balance. One thing women know how to do is to operate in several truths at once. Multitasking is our normal. Be a gentle and compassionate friend. Offer support and advice when it's solicited. And don't be afraid to admit when you're wrong. Be approachable and confident, but remain humble. One day, teach your daughters how to have the best of both worlds and teach your sons how to love a woman who is strong, but never to be intimidated by her because he is firm in his own strength. Too much masculine energy can show up as you chasing, forcing, initiating, or doing too much, being a ball buster and difficult. Instead, learn to let life come to you more. Relax. Allow yourself to be open to support and asking for help. Feminine and masculine energies are natural opposites, but they are naturally drawn to each other. I think back to the secret deodorant slogan from back in the day that said, strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. And I think, oh my God, yes, that is it. It's androgynous for me. I will not diminish my light, but I am strong enough to share it. I want it all. What about you? So are women too strong? Yes. No. Maybe. I mean, it really is a case by case basis and it depends on the woman. But at the end of the day, women have always adapted and been whatever we needed to be for whenever we needed to be it. So I will not apologize for that. And I know so many of my girls will not either. However, what we are discussing today is simply learning how to adjust and to be available and amenable to change. That is all. Because one thing about being a grown woman and putting your big girl panties on is learning to see when we are the issue and when we are not. But make no mistake about it. If we're going to be worried about our strength because we are dealing with a man or a little boy, should I say, that is not strong enough to handle it, so he shoots it back at us and blames it on us for being too strong because we have to fill in the lack that he provides to us, then that's a different situation. That's not what we're talking about. See, this show is when we're speaking about men in general, we are talking about real men. So don't even think about the little boy that you have in mind. I'm only speaking about real men. So I just wanted to clear that up because women will always submit and be that woman that we need to be for the man that is going to come in as the man. That's just period. Today's show is brought to you by Admire My Skin Skincare Line. Head over to admiremyskin.com and use code Shalia at checkout for 20% off your order. Please rate the show on your favorite streaming platform, share it with one person who you think needs to hear it, and ask them to do the same. Remember, good, better, best. We will never let it rest till your good is better and your better is best. Until next time, your friend and motivator, Shalia. Bye.